good.
Yeah. Afternoon. Are you ready?
Yes.
Sweet.
Let's try this.
Today's topic, how not to burn out.
What?
How not to get burnt out in this business. This business will burn you out.
You're in the wrong business, buddy.
Sort of, right? So, and you know, so Travis and I were just having a conversation before this got started about a little bit of a frustrating situation that was occurring, and you know, I'm reflecting back a little bit, and did I handle the situation properly? Did I not? I was a little bit short with the other agent just because, you know, situations kept on going on when they should have stopped. But it kind of, for me, it kind of leads into this whole thing of, because I get it, the market is tough right now.
No doubt.
Buyers are on edge. Sellers are probably about as demanding as they can be right now with their, not in a negative way, with their expectations, because the market is giving them pretty much anything that they want.
I think it's giving them more.
Exactly.
Right now, the last month or two, wow, I'd really like to get here, and it gets blown away.
Right. And we have to be the mediators as the agents of, or that buffer, or that outlet for all the situations.
Mm-hmm.
Everything from the agents calling saying, what about this, what about that, and the pleading going on and things like that, and sometimes, in some cases, maybe a little bit too much of an expectation from the seller side as far as pushing that envelope maybe a little bit too much. And can you burn out? Absolutely. No inventory.
I think it's a fine line, you know, because I'm a huge advocate of being a great realtor and being a good communicator and getting back to people.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's like, man, you know, at times people had 30, 40 offers.
Yep.
How do you manage that properly?
You don't. That is, I think once you get above like 7 or 8,
Yeah.
it's kind of like when you're looking at properties. You try to look at 20 or 30 properties and you know the answer. What was the first one?
Yeah,
what was the second one? What was the third? I can't remember. I think that the offers are kind of the same. It's trying to go over that many offers. It's really starting with how do I eliminate and work with my best 3
True,
or 4
and there's a
or
lot
5.
of work there, but in the end, I think if you end it well,
Mm-hmm.
it goes a long way. And what I mean by that is, yeah, there's a lot of sorting and a lot of work and doing all that through the offers and figuring out how to eliminate.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about, in the end, saying, hey, you got to respect my position. I respect yours.
Right.
This is difficult. I want to let you know there are a lot of great offers out there. We went through a lot. I know you went through a lot of work getting your buyer to get this offer in, and I want to let you know it didn't go unnoticed.
Mm-hmm.
However, you were one of 40, and unfortunately you weren't the one that we picked, and I just wanted to let you know. Instead of nothing.
True.
You know?
But, so we'll play a little role play here. Instead of saying you were one of 40 and you weren't the one you picked, you were one of 40 and you're going to be, unfortunately, we're not going to counter you back.
Yeah.
Okay?
And you're not going to get a counter like many in this situation did not get.
Oh, well, wait a minute. I can change my offer. I can readjust it. I can put something else in. And then we're having that dialogue and that's
No.
going on.
Now you're
That's-
done.
Yeah. So,
I've told you the seller's piece, and I got to move on. You did your bit.
and I will add this, you know, we're talking about getting burnt out. What about the clients? Because we're saying that too.
Yeah, so we got to manage clients as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I always said, you know, there should be a section of the real estate examination that's about psychology.
Right. You know, I'm Mr. and Mrs. Buyer. This is my 20th offer I've made, and nothing seems to be working and things like that. I think, you know, so we're seeing it from all different directions there. But today's subject is really about how do we avoid that. So, my first tip: take a vacation. Step away from it, maybe, is a better way to say it, because a vacation might sound like, well, let's take 2 weeks off and let's go to Hawaii. No, not necessarily. But, hey, let's take a day off, or let's take a half a day off, or
Heard
let's
that, the
take
staycation.
right. Let's take an afternoon and step away from the situation and reevaluate and wait and come back to it at a different time.
Yeah.
You know, what little things can be done on a regular basis, and what routines do you have in place? And, you know, okay, so things can be frustrating. I don't want to get burnt out. Well, what are you celebrating? What wins are you celebrating? Because even though things are difficult and challenging in this industry right now, hey, what are we celebrating? What good things are happening? So, I have my health. How about you?
Yeah. You know, I think looking at burning out, the first thing I would say is your business in order? Because a lot of freaking out is we wear a lot of hats in this industry.
Yes.
And if we're sitting there trying to manage each one, let's give an analogy of you're juggling, and each one of those is something that you're dealing with in your business. And every time you have to touch that ball to keep it in the air, you're gonna drive yourself absolutely crazy. So is your business in order in a way that a lot of the things that can be going on while you're out there dealing with buyers and sellers set up so they're going on,
Right.
and you don't really have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big step in the right direction.
Systems.
Yeah, systems.
We've talked about that, and you're a huge component, a huge advocate of systems, of making sure that you've got your systems in place and having your systems in place for everything. You know, is that checklist in place? Is, you know, I don't remember if I heard it from you in a recent quote. Don't remember the originator of this quote, but something along the lines of, when we're in these situations where things are getting difficult and everything is happening, we rise to the level of our lowest. I don't remember exactly how that goes, but basically we show up at our lowest ability of preparation for whatever that is. And sometimes when we're dealing with things and everything going on, if the systems aren't in place, you just create more burnout and more frustration because you don't know where to go.
Well, you're reinventing the wheel every time.
Exactly. So, all right. So staycation.
Staycation, get the head right,
Okay.
get your business in order so that you can be working with your clients while things are going on behind you.
Okay.
I like getting help, you know, and I think the number one thing if people aren't doing is a transaction coordinator.
Yep. Absolutely.
Very important. Stop chasing that
Absolutely.
paperwork.
Okay.
It seems so easy, like, oh, I don't want to pay him $400 or what it might be. But if you look back at a transaction and dealing with the paperwork, I think you would go, wow,
Right.
what could I have done with that time?
Okay. So how about this one? And we do it every now and then. Travis, I need a moment of your time. I just need to vent. I need to get it out, and I had this situation. This is what happened. I'm not looking for a solution. I just want you to hear me. I want you to nod, and then I want to be able to just move on. There's a lot of value in that one.
No question about it.
And
You're basically a psychologist in that situation. You're a coach. You're a counselor.
it's got to be people that you trust. And that one, I always tell people, be careful, because you want it to be somebody that you can trust, but you also want it to be somebody that has got to have a little bit of strength behind them, because otherwise what's going to happen is both of you are going to go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, and you don't want someone just rolling over and placating you.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
you want someone saying, you know what, Nestor, you're being an idiot.
Right.
Or whatever it may
Exactly.
be.
Hey.
No, you handled that wrong. You need to go do this. You know what the other person will generally say? I know, right?
Exactly.
I know. I just thought maybe there was another way around it. Folks, there generally is not another way around it.
Exactly. Or, hey, all right, you've had your 60 seconds. Now let's put it behind us. What's next?
Yeah.
You know,
And that's good, you know. That's your friend at the office, somebody
Right.
that you guys go and meet with one another within your private offices. Because you're right, yeah. I mean, that's a lot of times, hey, Travis, can I have you for a minute? Yeah, I just had this issue I got to talk about. Oh, no, I don't say a word, and, oh, thanks, that was very helpful. And they get up and walk out, and I'm like, I guess my presence was helpful because there wasn't much else going on here.
Exactly. So,
Yeah, a good venting partner.
yep, have somebody in place.
I like that.
So, another one that comes to mind for me, take action or move. So, you know, I go back to my days of, well, it's still current, Tony Robbins, and he always talks about, you know, your attitude and things that you have or that go on in life follow what you are physically doing. You can't be sad, depressed, and mopey if your shoulders are back, your head's up, you're talking with energy. Vice versa, you can't be energetic and happy if you're walking around with your shoulders down and your head down and you're just, you know, slunched over walking around all mopey. They're tied together. So a lot of times, hey, when there's a situation going on, how can I actively make it better?
I 100% believe in that. Action solves so many issues.
Right.
And one of my favorite quotes, it's the Tom Ferry quote, do the thing, have the power.
Right.
Do not the thing, have not the power. And I think that is so absolutely true. And it's about, you've got to pick a lane, pick a decision, and move forward.
Right.
Because the worst thing you can do in a moment of decision is making no decision at all. And so we got to keep that in mind. That really, because when you don't make that decision, man, it sits on your chest like a weight.
Right.
And maybe you know it, maybe you don't, but you're walking around until you make that decision. And I guarantee you, when you make that decision, good or bad outcome, you'll feel a relief.
Exactly. I had a thought and I lost it.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It'll come back at some
I'll
point.
get you another one for Christmas.
Here we go. Comes with age, everyone. All right, so burnout.
Another helpful tactic, and these are we're kind of going a little bit different here. So many people, excuse me, getting over a little bit of a cold. So many people go to the head and, you know, hey, go and exercise and have a great diet, and all those things are very important. But another one is keeping a great schedule. You know, I was shocked over the years talking to agents. Like, what do you do? Where do you keep things?
Right.
Oh, I just know where I write them down. I'm like, do you use? I mean, you have one in your phone now, a very powerful calendar. Do you use that? Oh, yeah, sometimes. That's, you know, that's for my kids when I need to pick them up and stuff. Wow. Okay. Obviously, we need to put appointments and things in there. But man, let's get on top of that. Did someone tell you that you need to follow up with them at some point? Put that on your calendar.
I remember one of our very first meetings and we were talking about something. We said, hey, let's do this. And you actually stopped right in the moment, opened up your calendar and put that in the calendar for the future. And for me, I was sitting there like, no, I'll remember it. And when I get back to my desk, I'll write it down or take a note. And it's funny now how dependent I am on, and it's a good dependence, my reminders.
I'm telling you, because it's off your, last night I couldn't sleep. And I'm like, I know why, because I'm sitting here thinking about all these things. So I got up, went to my phone, went to Asana, put, boom, I need to do these things tomorrow. They're simple things. I can remember them.
Right.
No. They play on your mind until you write them down. And went back to bed, boom, I was out because I had it written down. I didn't have to think about it anymore. There were simple things. Call this person. Follow up with that thing you needed to do. Nothing earth-shattering here. And so, yeah, that's super important to clear your mind, and it relieves you of a lot of stress.
So you use Asana for that?
Okay. For tasks, I use Asana.
Okay.
For notes, I use Evernote.
Okay.
So you got to, figure out your game there. And then I've got my CRM, and I have tasks in there as well. But those are different than my, my Asana tasks aren't typically prospect related.
Right.
My CRM tasks are prospect related. And then I have one more that I use. I guess just generally my calendar.
Okay.
So I will use my calendar for different reminders and things.
Okay. And I mean, it's funny because I can't see myself picking up and actually opening up Asana, but my technique is a very simple one. If I know my day is done and I'm not going back to revisit anything, and I need to remember something for the morning or whatever the case may be, I just open up my phone and I open up an email and write an email to myself. Because I know in the morning, it will be one of the emails that's near the top. I know it's from me, and it's my reminder. So it's either my to-do list or a reminder that you did this, or, hey, this was an idea or a thought that came to mind, something I should investigate or look into further. That's my Asana.
Yeah, it's good. And all this planning, it frees up, RAM space in your head to
Right.
give it a technological, what do you call that? Anyways, frees up brain space.
Well-
You don't think about it, but it does.
When did you figure out you can't remember everything?
No, it's not that my memory's changed at all. I just felt the power of
I felt like
the
mine got
calendar.
full.
No, because once it's just like people when they have prospects for buying and selling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got a bandwidth for a certain amount,
Right.
and you can rely on that, but you're limited.
Correct.
But once you say, you know what, let me write these down, all of a sudden your bandwidth is going to expand.
Exactly.
And that's when I realized that I'm like, oh man, I can keep so many prospects in my mind. But boy, if I have a CRM that's going to spit back out to me, hey Travis, do you remember you got to talk to this person about such and such from your last conversation?
Right.
That's something that would have been dead to me earlier because I don't have the bandwidth for all of that. So when you recognize the power of that and the ability, it frees up your mind because we're all going back to, hey, how do we not go crazy in this business?
Right.
And it's a lot about organization and having things in a way that expand your time. We only all have a certain amount of time. How can you make the best use of that time?
Right.
And that's about planning for it and then scheduling it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that frees up your time.
Right.
Because you're not worrying about it or doing things twice, and gives you the ability to manage your business better
Mm-hmm.
and the opportunity to treat yourself. So
Right.
staycations,
Mm-hmm.
making sure you're up every day doing some sort of exercise, reading, meditating if that's your thing,
Exactly.
or religion, whatever it is that brings you power.
I like it. Okay. I think we talked about a few. I don't know.
A couple
I don't-
items.
I don't want to overwhelm everybody and create.
that was quite a bit.
We might burn people out on burnout. So
Yeah.
want to be careful there. But I'd love to hear everybody else's feedback on that. I don't know. I feel like I'm just about to start to end this.
Yeah, that's okay. I think we covered a lot. We may have
Okay.
a little bit more, but like you said, we don't want to overwhelm everybody.
So if you guys have heard something that you like, I'd love to hear back, or we'd love to hear back from you.
Yeah, a tool, a thought, or whatever it is that maybe we missed that other
Right.
people. Oh, can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
So you mentioned setting a reminder for yourself
Mm-hmm.
or sending an email to yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to Mary Jaffercani.
Mm-hmm.
I was working with her for a little bit, and we were talking about these things. I'm like, do you use this? Do you do that? And she goes, you know what I do, Travis? Every time someone says, hey, can you call me back? Or, hey, can we do this? She says, the first thing I do is I open my phone.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to the clock feature, which has the alarms in it.
Ah.
And she sets an alarm. So she knows, if it's later in the day or later that week, you can always set it forward.
Mm-hmm.
And then her phone rings and says, hey, you're supposed to call this person back.
Huh.
I'm like, that's brilliant.
I'm gonna
Super
have to
simple,
try that. It is
super
simple.
brilliant.
I like it, but a system.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a system that works. Well, I like that. Well, very good. If you like what you're hearing, I think I don't know if it's up or down or below, but it's
Somewhere around
yeah,
here.
subscribe, the bell, share this to somebody. If you feel like you're getting value out of this, we would love to hear back from you. And if there's ever anything you want us to talk about, let us know.
Absolutely.
I'm not even sure what day of the week it is.
It's a great day. It's sunny outside and
Nice.
things are happening.
And you're feeling better.
I'm beginning to. Yeah, man, that really took me out. It was weird. I told my wife last night, I go, wow, this might end up being just a little bit of a 48-hour, detour for me here. She goes, don't jinx yourself. And I'm like, oh. So, still got a little congestion, but definitely heading in the right direction.
Good. Well, very good. All right. So until next time, thank you guys very much.
Yep. Have a great weekend,
Yeah.
wherever you end up watching this.
Depends on what day and what time, yeah.